The Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA, is a vital law that protects individuals with disabilities from discrimination. It ensures equal access to employment, government programs, and services provided by both public and private entities. A disability is defined as a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activities, such as walking, seeing, hearing, learning, or working. Temporary impairments, like broken bones, and individuals actively abusing drugs or alcohol, are not covered by the ADA. For new construction and alterations, the ADA requires full compliance with accessibility standards. Existing buildings must also be made accessible if doing so is readily achievable, meaning it can be accomplished without excessive difficulty or expense. To encourage compliance, businesses can receive a tax deduction of up to $15,000 to help cover the costs of removing physical barriers. The ADA goes beyond physical accessibility. It requires effective communication with people who have disabilities and mandates reasonable modifications to policies or practices that might otherwise be discriminatory. State and local governments are required to provide equal access to their programs and services. Florida has its own version of the ADA, which mirrors federal law, but provides additional legal remedies by allowing individuals to file claims in state courts. Under Florida's law, it is illegal to discriminate in the terms, conditions, or privileges of housing sales or rentals based on disability. Landlords and property managers must allow reasonable modifications to a property at the tenant's expense. For example, a tenant in a wheelchair might request the installation of a ramp or grab bars in the bathroom. Landlords must also make reasonable accommodations in policies or practices, such as permitting service animals even in buildings with a no pets policy. New multifamily housing in Florida must meet specific accessibility standards. These include at least one accessible entrance, wide doorways to accommodate wheelchairs, and accessible placements for light switches, outlets, and thermostats. Bathrooms in these units must have reinforced walls for the installation of grab bars, and kitchens and bathrooms must be designed to allow for wheelchair maneuverability. Service animals play a critical role in assisting individuals with disabilities. Florida law defines a service animal as one that is trained to perform specific tasks for its owner. Service animals are not considered pets, and landlords cannot deny housing or charge additional fees for them. However, landlords can ask for proof of vaccinations and documentation verifying that the animal is necessary for the individual's disability. They cannot, however, ask for medical records or details about the severity of the disability. Service animals can only be prohibited if they pose a direct threat to the health or safety of others. Florida also provides protections for individuals with HIV or AIDS. By law, the fact that a current or past occupant of a property has or had HIV or AIDS does not have to be disclosed in a real estate transaction. Furthermore, it is illegal to discriminate against individuals with HIV or AIDS, as they are protected under the same laws as those with disabilities. To illustrate these laws in action, let's consider a case study. Martha, a tenant with a traumatic brain injury, informed her landlord that she had a service dog. The landlord initially refused, citing potential insurance rate increases and disruptions to other tenants. Later, the landlord allowed the dog, but demanded a $1,000 pet fee. Martha refused to pay and reported the issue to the housing authority. A jury eventually awarded her over $37,000 in damages, underscoring the importance of following ADA and fair housing laws. Housing providers and real estate professionals must ensure their policies comply with these laws to avoid discrimination. For example, landlords should apply tenant screening standards consistently and avoid excluding individuals based on disability, perceived, or real. Additionally, all advertising must adhere to fair housing laws, avoiding language that could imply discrimination. If you believe you have been discriminated against, you can file a complaint under the ADA. Complaints must include details such as the name and address of the violator, a description of the incident, and the dates of the alleged violation. Individuals have 1 year to file a complaint with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. HUD will investigate the case and take appropriate action if necessary. The Americans with Disabilities Act and Florida's corresponding laws are designed to promote accessibility, equality, and fairness. By understanding and following these laws, housing providers and real estate professionals can create a more inclusive environment for all.